You're tuned into the Writing Community Chat Show, the live streaming YouTube podcast that brings you the stories of authors, screenwriters, and more. Indie or established, this show's for the community, and we invite you to be a part of it. Head to the writingcommunitychatshow.com for more info. The WCCS. Together as one, we get it done.
Hello and welcome to the Writing Community Chat Show. What are you laughing at? Oh, hello and welcome to the Writing Community Chat Show. We are delighted to be back on the show. It seems to have been ages. We've had authors that can't make it for certain reasons. We've had some people just not reply to us, and it's been a bit of a weird time. We're 4 years in March, which is incredible. So it's a bit weird to have a rocky moment, but I'm sure it's all good. You guys have been wonderful in the comments on social media. So thank you so much for being supportive to us. Chris, great to be back next to you and enjoying a Friday drink. How are you doing, sir?
Yeah, I'm excited. You know, the intro is what got me and what made me laugh a little bit, because like you look the same constantly throughout the 4 years, but my shows or timelines could be sort of like married with the hairstyles that I've had. Oh, yes. Because there's been some pretty bad ones. So
you have had some questionable hair choices over the years, Chris, and certainly in lockdown when you cut your own hair. But yeah, I mean,
you know what
I'm sure. Go on.
I was going to say I actually did that again last week, but I stopped myself halfway through this time. So I got the old scissors, because getting an appointment to cut your hair is just crazy. And I was really ill as well. I had pneumonia, so that's why I've not been on. And I was like, I can't get out. I'm coughing like mad. I feel like rubbish. Like I just want a haircut. So I got in the mirror and I've got these scissors, and they're not even hairdressing scissors. They're just like kitchen scissors. And I'm like that going, oh, no. And then I got a bit of hair in the sink and I was like, yeah, I'm just going to stop doing this. Do you know what I felt like? Britney Spears. Oh, it's a Britney Spears moment. I was like, this is my Britney Spears moment right now.
I know what you're talking about. Hair. Yeah, when you're not feeling too great, I mean, having a nice fresh and a good shower and a nice haircut makes you feel good, right?
Yeah, I probably should have done that rather than just cut my own hair, get in the shower.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look bad at all.
No, that's because I stopped myself. It could have looked a lot worse. So I got a beard trimmer as well, so it was a combination of the two. So I was like going up here with the beard trimmer, and then I was like, oh, the guard's going to come off or something, and then it's just going to end up. Do you remember when I shaved my head and I had it completely bang?
Yeah,
I nearly did that.
Really went back to literally down to the roots.
Yeah, back to the bone. See the gray.
Oh, your hair looks like that messy kind of hair, but it looks good. So I don't know. I wouldn't get rid of it. Yeah. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah, but with the guest ghosting us and stuff, I didn't want to frighten them off anymore. But I'm hoping tonight's show, with some really good book recommendations, can sort of entice the authors to come back on, to show them that we do care about them and we are thinking about them in advance, as well as give some people some really good recommendations. Now, what we decided to do was to give you guys some book recommendations from now up until the middle of the year, so like July. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do this again. We're going to recommend some more books. But if you're watching now and you're really excited about a book that's coming out this year, let us know in the comments. Let us know what you're excited to read. We'll try and find it. We'll try and highlight it. We'll try and showcase it. And we'll try and get the authors to come and speak to us as well, because obviously that's what we're all about on the WCCS. And we would like to throw a few ideas out to the people who are watching about what we could do in the future. One of the things is maybe a book club that could be online. So we pick a book a month, we read it, we get together, we chat just in the same sort of format. I think we can have about 10 people at a time, but obviously if it got bigger than that, we could have people on a rotating cycle to come and chat to us about the books. And then we could try and get the authors on as well, because as Agate said, we've been doing this for 4 years now. We have got some good connections, and I hope that we could get some authors to come and answer your questions about the books we've been reading.
Absolutely. The book club sounds like a great idea, and I know a lot of you are very much into your reading, and it would be great if we could bring that as a community effort so that everybody kind of gets on literally on the same page, and we can chat about that in our chat groups and get on the show together and discuss it. And rightly so, what Chris said, what will be a really nice thing and unique about the book club that we could provide is if we get that author to come on. And who knows, we might even be able to get that author in the chat group when there's all of us in there, 10 people on a chat group with the author, and we can discuss their book with them. Would be fantastic. So the scope is there. Chris has got a great eye for up and coming books and has been reviewing books for a long time, especially on NetGalley. So, he's the man to listen to about that. And yeah, it's great. There's a lot of stuff happening actually behind the scenes. We have already planned accommodation for Harrogate this year, working with Pan Macmillan again. They are very kindly supporting us in a various different ways at the moment. And it's going to be a very good thing to do. I'm working behind the scenes very hard on the Creative Lounge idea, which I've sent a survey out for, which is in the description of the show right now. If you could fill that out for us, it'll take a couple of minutes. It will be greatly appreciated because it's market research. And it does seem to be going in the right direction. So it could become a reality. And if it does, then this show has gone from a little podcast back in the day to a live streaming YouTube channel to potentially a real life hub for all the creative people in the world, and literally in the world, because it could go to any city in the world if it's successful in its first location. So, your market research help could be valuable to us. So please do take the time and fill that out if you can. And we appreciate you if you do.
Yeah, I mean, we've come a long way. We were a podcast. We had a couple of different logos, but then we landed on one. I didn't even think we'd get a logo at one point. We got a logo. Then we got T-shirts with logos on. Then we got mugs with logos on. Then we got our own beer. Then we went live and went to Harrogate. So there are some really exciting things that have happened and are yet to happen to us, which is really good. But with the Pan Macmillan thing, that's really exciting. But I wanted to keep this list so authentic, I didn't even consider whether I had any sort of publisher book on there. I just picked the books that I thought people were going to enjoy reading. And I thought the way that we could do it is I give you some months. I've only got one book because I didn't want to spam myself all with like, oh, this book and this book and this book. But other months looking really rosy. April, I've got 3 books on there, but I could have had about 5 or 6 easily. April seems to be the time of the year where the good books come out. And as I said before, if you've got a book that you're really excited to be reading this, then please let us know because we'll highlight that as well. But I thought we could do a little thing where I say the book and Agate looks to see if it's ready to pre-order on Amazon, because it really interests me when those books, so some of them aren't due out till July, but can we get them now, or not get them now, but can we order them now, or are they there ready to go? Because we're fascinated by that type of thing on the show. Like, how does the industry work? Like, are they sat there waiting on Amazon for 6 months before you can get to them? Yeah, it's a bit strange, but I'll start off with February because let's be honest, you're probably not going to squeeze a book in between now and February. So I thought I'd start there. And if you've read a book in January that you enjoyed, please let us know and we'll shout it out for you.
Yeah. So that's a great idea. So if we're starting in February's books, Chris, what is the first on the list? I'll pull it up on Amazon. I'll show you it on the screen, and we can have a little look at that in the UK and then in the US to see if it is available, and what that's all about.
So the first book for February, I've got 2 in February, is titled Original Sins, and it's by Erin Young.
Original Sins. Okay. There's quite a few books called Original Sins, quite surprisingly. Erin Young.
Oh, of course there is. Yeah, Erin Young.
Original Sins, Riley Fisher book number 2.
Show me the cover.
I will. It's ready to show, so I'm going to bring that up on stage right now.
Show me the cover, baby.
I'm bringing it up on stage.
Show me the cover.
Jesus. Here we go.
Yeah.
So there's Original Sins, which is a really, really nice cover. I really like that.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Best-selling author of the Fields.
Yeah. So that's why I picked it. There's a lot of buzz on NetGalley about this book.
It says atmospheric, a tense, dark thriller, so good. And Araminta Hill, oh my goodness, Araminta Hall, who came on the show, has left that comment on there. So this is a book 2, though, Chris. So is this something we need to find book 1 for first?
I don't necessarily think that's the case. I think it works well as a standalone. From the reviews and from what I've read of it, I don't think it's going to be a problem if you don't read the first one. But obviously, we would like to encourage people to go and read books. But the best thing you can do on Amazon, I think, is to download a sample to your Kindle before you buy it. Read the first few pages. You probably get about 5 to 10% of a book on the free sample. And I think you will probably know, having read that, whether the book's for you or not. So my advice would be do that, download the sample, have a little read, and then, you can go from there. But, dark thrillers, full of secrets and things like that. We love that. And, Original Sins is one to look out for in February.
It is. On the UK Amazon page, it is due for release on 13th of February, and it is exactly the same, quite surprisingly. I'm not sure why it's so surprisingly, but it is in the US on exactly the same date as the release. So you can buy them both at the same time in the UK and in the US.
And that works really well for our book club. If we were going to pick a book for February, one that comes out in all regions or countries at the same time would be quite good. Original Sins.
What we can do is prep these links to go in the description when we finish the show. So if you want to look back at this, at the books we talk about, please do so and get them through there, because we'll get in a little tiny bit of an affiliate kickback. Maybe not, but we might do. Do you want me to read the blurb for this, Chris?
Yeah, I was going to offer to, but I can't see it. So, but yeah, you can do. Yeah.
I'll give it a go. The main character's second name is going to throw me, but it says it's a brutal winter in Des. That's probably a place anyway. Des Moines, Moines, Moines. I don't know. It's in Iowa, and the city is gripped by fear. A serial attacker known as the Sin Eater is stalking women and has just struck again. It's a tough time and a tough place for Riley Fisher, a former small-town sergeant, to be reporting for duty as an FBI agent on her first assignment, teamed with a man she's not sure she can trust and struggling to prove herself, while fighting to pull her old life and family dramas. Fighting the pull of her old life and family dramas. Riley is tasked with investigating a vicious death threat against a newly elected female state governor. Gradually, she traces a disturbing connection between this case and the hunt for the Sin Eater. Though through snow, ice, violence, and lies, Riley Fisher is drawn towards a terrifying revelation. Erin Young follows up her acclaimed crime debut, The Fields, which has drawn comparisons with Mayor of Easttown, Silence of the Lambs, and True Detective, with another stunning thriller of dark menace and suspense.
Yeah, that stands out in the reviews in terms of a lot of people referencing Hannibal and the Silence of the Lambs books with this. So, if you're into that, True Detective started again, I think. I was a huge fan of True Detective. I think it's brilliant. And obviously, having a female protagonist, tackling all sorts of different issues is definitely one that is exciting. Yeah, looking forward to that in February.
Thank you to Anya, who kind of cleared that up for me. It's D is in day main, and the S is silent. So there's my geography lesson right there. Halo says cannibalism.
It's making
a comeback. Yeah, why not? Absolutely.
So the next book for February, as I said, I've got 2. This is is a collaboration, and it's something. This is something that I've thought about for a long time, but I've never seen it done to this extent before. So this is a collection of authors that have worked together to produce a book. Now, and I don't mean like an anthology. I mean like they've all worked together on the same book. So this one's called 14 Days, and it's by Margaret Atwood and Douglas Preston. But there's also a whole host of other authors attached to this book.
Okay. Interesting cover. Edited by Margaret Atwood and Douglas Preston. A collaborative novel, including Celeste Ng, John Grisham, Emma Donoghue, Tess Gerritsen, Dave Eggers, and Sylvia Day, and more. That is a massive amount of star-studded crime novels.
Yeah.
Star-studded cast of writers. Jesus. Can I speak today?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Obviously, you've got John Grisham there, and then Little Fires Everywhere was huge. You know, John Grisham's as big as they can get, but then Margaret Atwood's getting involved, and Douglas Preston as well. So I'm guessing just by the names that are attached to that book, it's going to be a brilliant book.
Yeah, you can see at the bottom here, actually, that's the list, including writing from, and that's a list of the writers there, that's incredible. Let me try and count. 4, 5, 6, 7. Right, there's at least, I'm looking at about 40 people there. Can you imagine trying to write a book with 40 people? That alone is insane.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to get some of them on so they could share a little bit of insight into how the book was actually constructed, because was it a case of, right, you write 1,000 words and then we're going to pass it on to somebody else, they read it, carry it on? You know, is it that type of style, or was it planned? Like, you know, what was involved in creating something like this, and why? Like, it seems to me that it may have been more of a passion project than, you know, a money-making thing, because, you know, the more people that are involved, the less money people are going to make, and
of course,
you know, the more you have to share a piece of the pie. So was it a case of it was a passion project, or was it an experiment? Was it something that they thought, oh, let's try it, see how it goes? Were they trying to combat AI and go, you know, all the minds together as one? Maybe. I'm not sure. Well, yeah, definitely one to look out for.
It says a BBC, Financial Times, and Cosmopolitan What to Read in 2024 pick. So not only has it got your backing, Mr. Hooley, it's got the backing of a big amount of corporations. So that clearly is making waves in the book industry. So definitely want to check out. And they are both available in the UK and in the US on the 6th of February. So that's about 2 weeks away now.
Yeah. Damn the BBC. Until they give us a job, you know, they can stop stealing my thunder for book recommendations.
Let me try and read the blurb for this then, because I messed the last one up a little bit. I couldn't even say last there, so bear with me. 14 Days, a unique collaborative novel from a star-studded cast of writers. Set in a New York apartment building, 14 Days is an irresistibly propulsive novel with an unusual twist. Each character in this diverse, eccentric cast of neighbors has been secretly written by a different major literary voice, from Margaret Atwood and John Grisham to Emma Donoghue and Castle Ng. 1 week into lockdown, the tenants of a run-down apartment building in Manhattan have begun to gather on the rooftop each evening to tell stories. With each passing night, more and more neighbors gather, bringing chairs and milk crates and overturned pails. Gradually, the tenants, some of whom have barely spoken to each other before now, become real neighbors. A dazzling, heartwarming, and ultimately surprising narrative, 14 Days is an ode to the power of storytelling and human connection. That sounds wonderful.
It does, and John Grisham's character is definitely going to throw someone off a roof.
You know it.
I'm looking forward to that.
It's a good concept, and surprisingly, obviously lockdown was quite some time ago now, a couple of years, and it may have taken that long to write this based on the amount of authors involved, but you can see from the picture, it's an apartment building. Everyone gathers on the top of the roof because they can't go outside. So it's basically like a ghost story storytelling vibe where everyone gets together and tells stories. And I really like that idea that everybody in the story brings their own story to that group. And you've got so much scope to expand with that. I think that's a really, really clever idea.
Yeah, definitely. One to look out for. And that's February, as far as I'm concerned. They're the 2 books that I'm going to be looking out for and reading in February. And then we move on to March.
March's books.
Now, March is, again, a really good month for new books and new works. But these are 2 authors that we've had on the show before, and I would love to chat to them again because they're both brilliant. The first one, he wrote one of my favorite books from last year with Isaac and the Egg. So it's Bobby Palmer.
Yeah.
And he's got a book coming out in March called Small Hours.
Small Hours. Let's see what comes up.
Small Hours. There we go. The purple
Bobby Palmer. Yep. First thoughts about the cover, Chris?
You know, I wasn't keen on the cover, but the story is brilliant so far. I've not finished it. I've started reading it because I've got it through NetGalley and it's on my Kindle. And what I love about Bobby is he has a way of making like familiar stories that you kind of know and kind of know what to expect. But just puts a lovely twist on them and just really comforting to read. Yeah.
Going based on the last book we read about, Halo says it's a brain orgy and a great idea. Yeah. Small Hours. Looking at the cover, I don't quite get. I haven't read the blurb. I don't know what this book is about yet, but I don't take a lot from the cover. The cover. The colors are purple. They're quite relaxing, sunset environment. So, I personally, looking at it without knowing what it is, I don't quite understand what it is. So. Going to read it, Chris? Do you want me to get into it, or do you want to read it?
Yeah, I can't see it, mate. So I can get it on my phone.
No, it's fine. So both these books are out on the 14th of March in the UK. I say both the books. I mean this book in the UK and the US, both on 14th of March. Small Hours, the spellbinding new novel from the author of Isaac and the Egg. Bobby Palmer, he was a great guest when he did come on the show. So if you haven't checked that out, please do so. People are calling it powerful, beautiful, and a triumph. And it says, the eagerly awaited new novel from Bobby Palmer, author of the critically acclaimed debut, Isaac and the Egg. If you stood before sunrise in this wild old place, looking through the trees into the garden, here's what you'd see. A father and son. A fox standing between them. Jack, home for the first time in years, still determined to be the opposite of his father. Jerry, who would rather talk to animals than the angry man back under his roof. Everything that follows is because of the fox, and because Jack's mother is missing. It spans generations of big dreams and lost time, unexpected connections and things falling apart, great wide worlds and moments that define us. If you meet them in the small hours, you begin to piece the story together. No, you'd begin to piece together their story. I got it kind of right. And that's it. So it's a bit of an unusual one with, I mean, Isaac and the Egg obviously is a bit, how do you describe that story, Chris? Is it sci-fi?
It's E.T. It's E.T. But and Bobby said this himself, it's E.T. if E.T. met Elliot when he was an adult and going through a crisis.
Yeah. But in this, we've got a fox.
We do have a fox, and I'm not going to spoil it too much in terms of what the fox's role is. But what I will say about Bobby's work is he explores emotion like nobody else I've read for a long time. And he really gets down to the nuts and bolts of what it means to be human. And I feel like with Isaac and the Egg, I felt that it was a very personal story for Bobby, and I feel this one even more so.
Yeah.
So yeah, really powerful writing. Obviously, it's not a thriller like Original Sins, but I still think it's going to be a really good book and definitely one to look out for.
We can take a slight interlude here and go back because Halo said some recent books she's read and loved: Slewfoot,
Nice.
The Crane Husband, and Any Man (in brackets All Dark).
Nice.
Do you want to
Can
check
you let
any
us
of those
know
out?
who wrote those? Yeah, check them out. So,
let's have a look at Slewfoot.
Third one. Oh, Slewfoot.
Let's go for Slewfoot. It's an interesting name. A Tale of Bewitchery. Oh, there's one from Charlotte Bishop as well. Yeah, can you let us know, Halo, the author of those books, please?
Yeah.
All right, keep going, Chris.
This next one, this is going to be a big one. I think this is going to go Netflix series, all that type of stuff. And it's from Stu Turton, and it's called The Last Murderer at the End of the World. It's so on point in terms of what is happening right now and the sort of, doomsday fear that is circulating in the media. And this is a brilliant book. Again, don't really want to spoil it for anyone, but I've had the privilege of reading it on NetGalley, and it is brilliant. I go so far to say it's his best book yet.
Nice.
I do like to think, I'm going to know what's happening here, and I think this is going to happen. Not with this book. Like, from a writing point of view, how he plants so many questions with each chapter is just brilliant.
Yeah. In the audience, let us know every time we put a book up what you think of the cover, because we're going to kind of discuss those as they show. First impressions from me, Chris, I love that. It's intriguing. It's one of those books that keeps your eye, book covers that keeps your eye moving around the page. So I think that it's intriguing, which is a really good thing for that book.
Yeah, and the opening of the book is brilliant in terms of do you know when Stephen King talks about starting with a question that you want to know the answer to?
Yeah.
Stu does that in this book so well. Like, I think you would read, once you'd started it, I think you would finish it just to know what happened and what's going to happen. And he has, from a writing point of view, he has a countdown, quite a literal countdown through the book, which I think is such a brilliant tool as a writer. Count down to an event to keep a reader engaged and hooked. Because it feels like a reward as the clock is literally ticking in this book to a certain point, and it's just a great way of building tension and pace.
Do you think you know any tips on how an author can do that, as in creating a question in the story that leads you to want to read the rest of the book? Because it's nothing I've ever thought of as an author. I tend to write visually and what's in front of me, and that's the story. I never seem to think, okay, let me think how I can draw the audience in by putting a question in there. Do you have any idea?
Well, what Stu does with this is he puts up an almost impossible scenario where you need to know the answer. Like, it's kind of like the idea of I can't say it without giving too much away for this book.
Yeah, don't spoil it. Yeah,
but basically a great moral dilemma. Moral dilemmas are good in terms of, The Chain, Adrian McKinsey, The Chain was a brilliant one. And that book started with a great moral dilemma of, your child has been kidnapped. In order to get them back, you have to kidnap another child that's not your own and give that child up over to us to get your child back. So straight away, it's like, right, will this person kidnap another child and put them in danger to get their own child back? And that type of hook, you just straight away, you're like, right, I need to know how this is going to play out. And without giving anything away, The Last Murder at the End of the World does that in such a really good way that you just like, need to know what's going to happen. But yeah, it's brilliant. And I do think it will be picked up and made into a film if it hasn't already. Because it's so good.
Well, it's got a lot of praise. It says solve the murder to save what's left of the world, which in itself is intriguing. AJ Finn said a mind-bending, genre-bending boy that ending mystery, unlike I've ever read. CJ Tudor said she loved it. Benjamin Stevenson said, what an absolute blast. M. Craven said, wildly inventive. Alice Bell said, believe the hype. And Will Dean said, extraordinary. So there's a lot of authors there that really are saying things that are quite impactful, not just kind of a throwaway comment. They really sort of believe the hype. So I'm believing what you're saying, Chris, and this looks fantastic. It is out in the UK on the 28th of March, but it is out in the US on the 21st of March. So you can get it a whole week before us in the UK here. I'm not sure why that is. So, but yeah, don't buy it the week before we do.
Yeah, definitely another one to look out for. And that's my March recommendations. Done and in the bag.
Are we reading the blurb for this one, Chris?
Did you? Oh, you read the? Yeah, you can do.
Yeah. Let's go for it. Why not? Because we are sticking to it. Okay, so The Last Murder at the End of the World by Stuart Hurton. Outside the island, there is nothing. The world destroyed by a fog that swept the planet, killing everyone it touched. On the island, it is idyllic. 122 villagers and 3 scientists living in perfect harmony. The villagers are content to fish, farm, and feast, to obey their nightly curfew, to do what they're told by the scientists. Until, to the horror of the islanders, one of their beloved scientists is found brutally stabbed to death, and they learn the murder has triggered a lowering of the security system around the island, the only thing that was keeping the fog at bay. If the murder wasn't solved within 107 hours, the fog will smother the island and everyone on it. But the security system had also wiped out everyone's memories of exactly what happened the night before, which means that someone on the island is a murderer and they don't even know it. Yes. I like that.
Brilliant. So many good twists in it as well. You know, he's the master. He's one of those authors as well. I met him and I said, like, one of the questions that I asked him was in bar in Manchester. I said, like, what got you into sort of writing? Like, and he said, you know what? People ask me this all the time, and they want me to say, oh, I loved reading, or I loved this. And he said, I write because I'm good at it. And I'm like, yeah. He's one of them that I want to hate his books because that line just sticks in my head. But it's true. Like he is really good, and you know he's been doing a book a year roughly. So long may that continue.
Well, can I suggest that in March? Is it March? Yeah, in March that be our book of the month because I really want to read that. The cover looks great. The concept sounds very intriguing and it's got a lot of praise. So before we go on to the next one, Chris, let me just talk a little bit about the business that we're planning. The Creative Lounge, which is an exclusive VIP club for creatives of all kinds. This can be a real place in any vibrant city. And I've started creating a website. I'm going to show you guys because you tuned in, you've taken the time to can't speak today, to join us. So I'm going to show you the little website that's been designed so far. And I'd love to get your feedback on the concept. And as I said in the description of the show is the survey. So this is what we've got so far. This is the logo, the CL, the Creative Lounge, Unleash Your Creativity. The Phoenix is there because the Phoenix is a symbol of rebirth, creation, and all of that good stuff. And it really links into this. And this is the website, the little logo up there and there. What's on, members, about us, and contact. They're all things that will be developed. This is very new, this site that I'm working on. So the concept of this is a creative lounge will be a place where you can write with writing software on the computers, a reading corner, a bar, a cafe, a lecture hall where people will teach everything from writing, author talks, painting, media, anything that's creative. All the creative people are welcome and it will be exclusively for them. There'll be a podcast studio, a drama club, everything you can imagine creative. So things like our projects, what's on here, these pictures are all going to be updated. So you've got things like workshops, coaching, events, podcast coaching, author signings, parties, writing groups, drama club, and equipment hire. These are all little ideas that we've got for this vibrant community place that can take place and become a real vibing hub for us all. Special members areas, book online. So this hasn't been developed, so please, very, very shallow kind of content. Group training sessions. So if there's someone teaching how to write certain ways, or someone who paints the edges of pages, or someone who's a photographer, if they want to book their own training sessions, you can book into them yourself to attend. It's going to be a real place for creatives, and that can mean anything and everything. So if you think this is a great thing and you would like to attend something like this in your area, let us know, and also go and do that survey for us, because that market research can go into the business plan that we're actually working on now. So as Chris mentioned, we started off as a very small podcast. This could become something real life, face-to-face, real valuable for every community, working with schools and colleges, and become a real social enterprise hub for the community in every city this expands and opens up into. And there's no reason why this couldn't expand into America, for example, where you are. So love to know your feedback, and we think it's a great idea. Hopefully you do too.
It was a great pitch, mate, and you did it in the time it took me to pour a Guinness.
Salivating over this idea, would love for it to become a chain. Well, this is my point. So if this works in, say, my local city, it could work in any city that has vibrant, creative people in it. And the fact it's VIP and exclusive, I think that's really valuable. As we know, writers often, and most creative people, are quite recluse. They kind of like their own space and mix in with the like-minded people. This isn't somewhere people can wander in off the streets. It would be a creative lounge for creative people. And it's all about growing as a community, working together collaboratively, having writing coaches on hand, and just having that community where you can go and relax, read a book in the corner, or you can go and write for the afternoon, or you can have a little party. You can book a party for your friends in the writing world or the creative world, or you can go and watch an author signing, or watch us interview someone in there as well. You can learn how to podcast, you can learn how to create media stuff, you can learn how to network. It's just an absolute creative learning hub with fun in there as well, which is what this show has tried to be, and I think has at times been that as well. And it's just becoming something in the real world. So hopefully you really like that. And if it does well in its first location, there's no reason why we can't franchise this over to the US, where a lot of our followers are. And it'll just have to be an excuse for us to go up there every month and do a show there as well. So, yeah, I think if your feedback comes in and we can use that, please help us in that sense.
Yeah, no, I think we could. We just need to do whatever it takes to get there, to be honest. I was thinking, my son is 5 years old, and he watched a TikTok video whilst in the car with, have you seen Hashtag Brady?
I have not.
Well, he's basically, he's quite a common lad, and probably sort of like early 20s, and he started off by trying to find the UK's greatest cheeseburger.
What challenge?
And I know, and he was doing reviews, but his reviews, like, he was comparing like eating a burger to like eating somebody out on, and things like that. Like it was really highbrow.
I wonder if the US knows what that means.
Anyway, he was doing that, and I saw a video the other day that this other guy sort of broke down his finances based on the number of TikTok views he'd had.
Mm-hmm.
And it turned out that he was earning like over 24 grand a week on the views. And I was like, what? Like, he's literally buying a burger for like 6 or 7 quid. And he's probably not even buying them. Let's be honest, probably invited to come and
on Twitch. these days they've relaxed the nudity policy on there. Okay, so what you have now is a bunch of young females. I'm not going to just categorize them all as being the same. They're not. And one of them said, "Yes, Anya." One of them said,
"It's universal, I guess. It's universal."
Why are you on here? They were asked the question. She said to take your money, and she had like 2,000 viewers. And then there's a guy I watch on there every week who's a brilliant musician, a loop pedal artist, and sorry, the comments distracting me. He's got like 90 followers and 90 viewers. I'm thinking this guy is absolute quality. And there's a woman there who's skimpy saying, I just skimpy clothes just want to take your money. And I was thinking it's so difficult for real creatives to actually benefit. Authors are a great example of that, because you spend years writing and pouring your heart into that work, and then you've got to learn to market. So what we want, bring on the tangent, what we want is that creative lounge to become a real hub where people can learn and benefit their careers from it. Chris,
I meant to say back to my story with with my son. We didn't show him an inappropriate one, but the one that he did watch, he said that the burger was peng.
Yeah.
And he said, what does peng mean? So he said, right, well, something's really nice. And now he will not stop saying peng.
Yeah.
So whenever he eats something, he's like, Dad, this is peng. And I'm like,
is he?
Oh my God.
Whacking that as well?
No, he doesn't do that. He just, like, he'll eat, like, tonight, had the show, it was busy. So he went to McDonald's and he had a burger and he's like, this is peng. Everybody, he's like, this is peng. Like, oh my God.
Also leng. Leng is kind of a similar thing. But leng is normally referred to women. So if she's really attractive, she's leng.
Right. Did not know that. You learned something
new. I work with the young people. I get all the lingo. And that instantly
that's exactly what you just said.
Instantly me saying that makes me really old. So Chris, go back to it, because Halo says bring on the tangent. Can you explain what the chat has distracted me with?
Oh, I don't know if I want to do that.
No? Okay.
You can read them out by all means.
No, I don't want to eat them out. Oh my God.
Freudian slip from you, Agate.
I'm clearly tired today. Anyway, let's there's some rudeness in there because of Chris's comment.
Yeah. Okay, right. Serious. These are book recommendations now.
Hang on. Linda says you should have a writing workshop on unique emphasis for private parts.
Yeah, we definitely should.
Have you got any slangs for private parts? There's some really bad ones for women's.
Oh God.
Halo says, "No, I can't."
Oh my God, Halo! Ring yourself.
Oh dear me.
Oh God.
Yeah. Thanks, Finn, my son there, with a good comment. Okay, we should move on to the books, Chris. I think we should.
Yeah, let's move on to the books. I did put one on there as well, which was. We'll get to that. There's one in a bit, which kind of links into the things we're talking about. So, April. I told you April was a good month.
Yeah.
God. Jesus.
I'm looking at the Kindle page. I'm good.
Yeah. Okay. So, 7 days.
Yep.
And it's not a Craig David reference. It is Robert Rutherford. We've met him.
I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah, we've met him. And
Rutherford.
So it's Rutherford.
I need to see this guy's face. I've had many a beer with Robert.
Yes, you have. I remember him from Harrogate.
Yeah, the first year we got quite drunk with Robert and his friends.
Well, Robert, I think this is going to be the book that's going to sort of like help.
Oh, I'm not. I'm not showing it. Sorry, guys. I'm just reading the comments again. Okay, there we go. Cover chat.
Yeah. Again, this is one with a really good hook. In terms of the your father has been accused of murder. You have 1 week to save him.
Okay.
Which again, my headphones have just gone off. I do think this book's going to propel him into a new level. Like we were talking about, how authors sometimes they need that sort of breakout book that sort of separates them from, doing okay numbers to doing really, really good numbers and sort of like making a living. And I think this could be the book for Robert.
Yeah, Robert is a really nice guy, and we talk about author platforms and building your author brand. He gets on very well with all the authors at Harrogate Crime Writers Festival. So he's already got those great connections, and he's obviously learning and developing his writing. So what do you think of that cover off the bat, Chris? 7 days to me kind of looks... I get instantly there's interrogation kind of things going on, and there's drama and a timeline involved.
Yeah. And again, I think maybe it's just a theme this year that timelines are really, maybe that is a key that, a lot of authors are using in terms of like a really clear, explicit, this is how long we've got, let's count down together. And one of the things I have noticed is chapters seem to be a lot shorter than they used to be.
Okay.
There's not many books that I've read recently that have been, massive, hefty chapters or just not having any in whatsoever. The last Murder at the End of the World, again, quite short. You could probably dip into them and put it back down and then go and do whatever and come back to it, and you wouldn't have any problems. So yeah, maybe that's something that's happening as well, just from a writing point of view. Short chapters.
Well, we mentioned it on the on the show a couple of weeks back, how retention spans at the moment with modern technology and TikTok and YouTube Reels, shorts and Reels, that people are looking for a very, very quick fix in terms of attention. So I'm guessing if people it may be a trend in the publishing world that says, look, thanks, Sarah, correcting my grammar. I'm doing multiple things. So people are looking at how to reduce the lack of attention from a reader. Maybe keeping those chapters short is the key, and that what they're being told to do to make it more punchy and more something.
Well, as Halo said, lots of quickies.
Lots of quickies. Yeah. They don't want the long, drawn-out story anymore. They want lots of quickies.
No. People don't have time for that. Right. Are you going to read the blurb?
I am. It's out on April the 25th in the UK, and it's out on April the 25th in the US. So again, the same day. It's a very short blurb, so let's get into it. Your father is on death row. You have 7 days to save him, but do you want to? Alice knows her father is guilty of many things. He's guilty of abandoning her. He's guilty of being unfaithful to her mother. But is he guilty of murder? Now on death row, he has 7 days to live. Some people want him released. Others will kill him to keep him just where he is. Alice has only one chance to save him, but should she?
So again, great moral dilemma, which again is something I'm seeing a lot more. So, yeah, novellas are becoming popular, and disembowelment.
Hopefully, in the fictional world, Halo.
So, my next recommendation for April, like I said, I got 3. Is this one is called "The Intruders" by Louise Jensen.
Oh, coming straight up on the search bar. Oh, I love the cover straight away.
It's a great cover and a great concept.
A Galloping Pulse pounder. Ooh.
Oh, that sounds like a euphemism.
It does. It was a Galloping Pulse pounder.
I couldn't walk for days.
Yeah, you'll be left open-mouthed. This all sounds quite euphemism.
It does.
The intruders. Again, just we have the wrong sense of humor.
We started something.
Yeah, the Galloping Pulse pounder, heat.
Mm.
Halo says throbbing. This has gone downhill in the best kind of way. Okay, so what do you think about the covers? Chat, please let us know. I think that cover, as a horror fan, that gives me good vibes.
Yeah, it does. I love the they were told to leave and they should have listened. It's definitely got that sort of Hills of Eyes, sort of like village creepy vibe.
It's got the birds vibe, Hitchcock, but it also has a green window that speaks sci-fi and aliens.
Potentially.
So at the moment, I have no idea what this book is about, but I like it.
Again, another book on NetGalley that's getting lots of rave reviews, really highly rated. When behind the scenes of NetGalley, basically you can see how many people have reviewed it, how many stars they've given it, similar to Amazon. But they are far more brutal on there because unless you're a member of NetGalley, you're not going to see it. So it's not necessarily like a public, it's just a gen. And what the reason why people go on NetGalley is they try and give feedback before the book is released. So the fact that Louise will be getting reviews now, for publishers, that's a good indication of how well the book's going to do. But also, if there's any problems that they need to address, let's say they go, "Oh, this was really insensitive," or "This was horrendous. I wouldn't recommend this bit," or whatever. Then they've still got time to take it out or tweak it. So what you read on NetGalley is not necessarily what the final book is going to be.
That's a really good because there might be people that relying on those reviews to buy the book. So yeah, it's like having a super team of beta readers that you don't know.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what it's like. And then what will happen normally is if you've read the book and you review it, they will ask you or send you an email on the day saying, if you enjoyed it, could you review it on Amazon or Goodreads or whatever? Yeah. And obviously then you have the option. But I like it because anyone can apply to have their book put on NetGalley. Which is a good thing for a lot of authors, especially if you're going to do it yourself. You can have a bank of beta readers or a bank of readers before the book is released, sort of give you a vibe of how well it's going to go down. I'm not sure about the ins and outs in terms of do you have to pay and things like that. I'm not really sure. I'd need to do a bit more research on that, but definitely a good tool if you're looking to get in some reviews.
Yeah, it's got some good reaction in the comments saying that the people like the cover. It looks cinematic and it's vibrant. It's released in the US and in the UK by HQ on the 11th of April, so not too far away. We've said about the Galloping Pulse pounder. It definitely sounds wrong. Okay,
it does. Maybe they can take it off.
No, leave that on. It's great. So the perfect opportunity. A manor house available rent-free to house sitters. Okay, if that house was available for us, Chris, to rent for free, would you?
Yeah, of course.
That'd be a great
cameras.
A great setting for our Halloween party in real life. So, a manor house available rent-free to house sitters is an offer too good to miss for Cass and James, who have been saving for a deposit on their home for so long. Although it's been abandoned for almost 30 years after a home invasion left almost all the inhabitants dead, it is an amazing chance for them to build a future. But is it worth the price? Shortly after moving in, things take a sinister turn. Objects disappear and turn up in odd places. The clock always stops at the same time. The house is strangely oppressive and sometimes feels like Cass and James are not alone. Newington House may have bad energy and a dark reputation, but surely there's no reason for history to repeat itself, is there? Readers are captivated by Louise Jensen. That is a book that we need to read on the list, Chris.
Yeah. Going back to the horror, sort of like Shining. I know that was mentioned. The Shining vibes in terms of being trapped. Because obviously you've got quite an isolated area or space and setting. So, yeah, definitely.
Some NetGalley reviews says, full of suspense and edge of your seat moments. If I could give it more than 5 stars, I would, because this book is definitely one of my favorite reads.
There we go. Nailed it.
Yeah.
And then the final book that I'm recommending for April is, again, somebody who's been on the show before. The Gathering by CJ Tudor.
Oh, yes.
Now, she herself said that this book she believed was the best book she's written. And if you know anything about CJ, she's written some really good books.
Praise to this cover. The best of the night, in my opinion, as a horror fan. Look at that. Britain's female Stephen King, and that is gloriously deathly. I don't know what that is about, Chris, off the cover, but I want to read it.
Yeah.
I want to read that. I want to watch it. I want to consume that.
Well, again, on watching it, I do think this has already been picked up. Another one that is coming to screens at some point. I'm pretty sure I read that.
She had something come out on, was it Amazon this year? I started watching
Did she have The Burning Girls?
Yes, The Burning Girls came out on TV, which I did watch a chunk of. Haven't finished yet.
Well, like I said, I do think she said somewhere that this was the best book she wrote.
I love the look of that.
So, yeah.
That's got almost Evil Dead vibes.
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah.
Okay, let us know what you think of that, guys. Let's have a look at the dates of release. So, The Gathering in the UK is out on the 11th of April, so just after our last book. And in the US, oh, wow. What a different cover in the US. And that's just as good. Right, I'm going to have to stop sharing that and share the other cover. Why do US get different covers? I'd never get this, but it's lovely. It's lovely. It is a lovely cover. Look at this one. What do you think of that one?
Yeah. That's got Stephen King vibes to it, hasn't it, really?
Yeah.
So I've got Stephen King vibes and let the last one in. Yeah,
it's gone from full-on Evil Dead to Stephen King. I don't know which I prefer, They're both amazing. Although I've got
the last one in or let the right one in. It's let the right one in.
Let the right one in. But I've also got a vibe, an issue about this, because loving a bit of graphics as I do, the fact that the T is overlapping the J looks wrong to me.
Oh yeah, in the T.
Yeah, see what I mean? Yeah. So let's read the blurb of this book. It's a bigger one. Okay, I'll try and do my best, Chris. A detective investigating a grisly crime in rural Alaska finds herself caught up in the dark secrets of the superstitions of a small town in this riveting novel from the acclaimed author of The Chalk Man. In a small Alaska town, a boy is found with his throat ripped out and all the blood drained from his body. The inhabitants of Dead Heart haven't seen a killing like this for 25 years, but they know who is responsible. A member of the colony, an ostracized community of vampires living in an old mine settlement deep in the woods. Detective Barbara Atkins, a specialist in vampire killings, is called in to officially determine if this is a colony killing and authorize a cull. Old suspicions die hard in a town like Dead Heart, but Barbara isn't so sure. Determined to find the truth, she enlists the help of a former Dead Heart sheriff, Jensen Tucker, whose investigation of the previous murder almost cost him his life. Since then, Tucker has become a recluse, but he knows the colony better than almost anyone. As the pair delve into the town's history, they uncover secrets darker than they could ever imagined, and then another body is found. While the snow thickens and the nights grow longer, a killer stalks Dead Heart, and two desperate communities circle each other for blood. Time is running out for Atkins and Tucker to find the truth, and are they hunting a bloodthirsty monster or a twisted psychopath? And which is more dangerous?
Yeah, I love it how it's so upfront with the vampire element. Just straight away, it's like, yeah, these vampires are here in Alaska. They've been away for a while. Are they coming back? And is it terrifying?
Well, yeah. So they're played by vampires in the past, and now they've got potentially vampires back, or have they got just a psycho killer? So yeah, good detective story unfolding in that.
Yeah, and vampires maybe making a resurgence this year, and not the Edward Cullen type.
Just like disembowelment, like Halo said.
Yeah. So now we're on to May.
Jeez, are we going through the year?
Not the whole year. We're going to July.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. Let's go.
So, May. We'll do it as a sort of quick fire to get to July because we're at the hour mark.
We can carry on. I don't mind.
Yeah. The first one is The Kill List by Nadine Matheson, who's been on the show before.
Yes.
She's got a new book out.
I like Nadine. We had a good chat in Harrogate, and I recorded an interview that wasn't audioed. The Kill List. There's a needle. AJ Finn has commented on the book, as has Kia Abdullah, who we had on the show. I'm not loving the cover.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of fits into the mold of similar types. Like in terms of covers, you would see that in Asda, or you would see it in a Tesco.
It's one of those things they call an airport book, right? Yeah,
I do think that tagline's good though. He will come for them one by one. The Kill List. I think it's pretty self-explanatory from that. But the reason why I picked this, obviously Nadine's been on before, but I think what seems quite simple from the outset will not actually be the case when you get into it with Nadine, because she's a brilliant writer. Obviously, this is saying this is book 3 in a series as well.
Yeah.
So she's starting to get a little catalogue of books, which is nice when you get one character that you can sort of grow to love whenever this a new installment. That's what we all like. And as authors, that's the dream. If you can get a couple of books with one character. Oh, nice. There we go. Is that the American?
Why did the US have better covers than this? Sorry, if you listen to the podcast, we apologize because we're showing the covers. The difference between the UK and US, I think, is outstanding.
I mean,
CJ
do the US need
clearly
complex
had big thought into both of those. So why, if they're both so good, why is there not just one? Do they presume that US people would prefer to buy this over ours, and we would prefer to buy ours over that one?
Yeah, there must be something to it, because they are very different, aren't they? I mean, that implies that the killer could be a woman,
whereas she could be the victim.
I know, but she doesn't look like a victim in that, does she? She looks like quite menacing, really.
She does, and she's hiding behind a curtain.
Yeah. Whereas
Linda says she thinks that one's better. Interesting. So we need to push through these a little bit quicker. In the US, the Kindle is out on the 6th of August. Hanover Square Press. I've not really heard of them, I don't think. And it's by HQ in the UK on the 9th of May. So
Nice.
out a lot earlier in the UK.
Yeah, definitely. The next book that I've got is called Free Berry.
Oh, go on. Blurbing these?
Yeah, you can if you want. I thought you were speeding, but yeah, blurb away, my friend.
It's very different, the blurb on both books as well, which I find, again, very interesting. Do you want the US version or the UK version, Chris?
Go with US and do it in your best American accent.
I can't do an American accent.
Just try.
Sounds Irish. I really don't know what that sounds like. Wow, I'm an innocent man. That's like country guy, right?
Yeah, country's okay.
Wow, it is. I'm gonna get abused now. While an innocent man sits behind bars, a serial killer with a gruesome signature has started killing again, and only I don't know. Angelica Henley can stop him. I sound like Woody. After 25, no, I can't. After 20, I can't even speak normally now, Chris. You've ruined it. No, I don't know who I am anymore.
I'll try it.
20, go on
then. He'll come for them one by one. 5 shocking murders. 25 years ago, DC Harry Rhymes arrested Andrew Streeter for the brutal murders of 5 young people. Streeter's kill list of victims was found in his home, and he was convicted of all 5 crimes. A legacy under threat. Now Streeter's convictions are being overturned as new evidence implies the original investigation was corrupt. No one is more shocked than D.I. Hanley because this case is personal. Rhymes was her old boss, and he's no longer alive to defend himself. But when the killers started up again, Hanley must face the truth. Rhymes got it wrong 25 years ago. A hunt for a killer, Hanley and her team reopened the original murder cases, but they must put their feelings to one side because the real killer is out there and he's working his way through a new kill list.
Bravo, Mr. Hooley, bravo. Anya says that's not too bad of a Savannah GA accent. And Linda says, I can see Hooley sitting on the porch sipping lemonade. Sipping lemonade. That was brilliant.
Yeah.
Have you done a voice acting before, Mr. Hooley?
No, the most I get is I read books to obviously students. Yeah. Mice and Men is one. I won't do all my accents for that book because we might get cancelled. But
we're not picked up to be cancelled, Chris. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that was great, and that sounds a really good book as well. So thank you for your entertainment. I really think that was brilliant.
Yeah, so that's May done. Oh no, it's not. 3 Burials. 3 Burials is my other one, and this guy's got a great name, and I picked it because I wanted to swim because his name, and again, kind of links into where we went before.
I can't find
his name is Anders Lustgarten.
Lust. Oh, I found him.
Lust.
3 Burials.
Yeah.
The most unusual cover of the night, I believe. Oh, that's the American page I'm sharing. So let me share the right one. This one. I'm not sure I love the cover. Text is bothering me a little bit. The color on that color is bothering me, but I absolutely love the life jacket with a tread mark on, because that symbolizes someone's in need of help and someone stood on them and said, F you, you're going down.
Get back in the water.
Yeah, you're staying down there.
Yep.
So have you comments about this? No?
I can see where you're coming from with the cover. I do think it's striking, though. I think if that was in a bookshop and it was on sort of like a table, that you could see the covers, I think you would be a bit drawn to it.
Yeah.
But the name Lustgarten is great.
Lustgarten.
Yeah. That could be another one. Show me a Lustgarten.
Get your Lustgarten out. I'm so sorry.
I don't think he'll come on the show now.
What's wrong with me? Yeah, it didn't slag his cover off, but I didn't say it was great, and now I said Lustgarten. Interestingly, it's only out in the US on the 18th of June in hardcover. There's no Kindle apparently available. My search is not great, so possibly it might be there. So it's out in the UK on the 2nd of May. But it looks like it won't be out until June in the US. If we can get some proofs of those, we might do a competition, send them out early. Can we do that?
Yeah, don't see why not.
Yeah, why not?
Be better the bushes and the Lustgarten.
We've got a very funny group of listeners and viewers. We really have. They're brilliant.
Definitely.
Yeah. So 3 burials. Anders. Have you seen Anders Lustgarten? It's disgusting. So it's an electrifying wild ride of a debut novel from award-winning playwright Anders Lustgarten. Meet Cherry, a bandit queen on the run, driving a pink soft-top convertible through the broadlands of southeast England. She's never felt more like Thelma and Louise in her life. Except there are 3 of them in the car, and one of them is dead. How did head nurse and mother of 2 end up driving a handcuffed policeman and the corpse of a murdered refugee on a journey to find justice, pursued by a racist, roid-raged, shaven-headed officer of the law, not to mention by her husband and daughter? What else can a woman with a consequence do in modern Britain? Thrilling, radical, and darkly comedic, Anders Lustgarten's open-hearted storm of a book explores pressing political concerns with clear sightedness and holds a mirror up to contemporary Britain.
Do you know, that actually sounds really good. I mean, I know I've read some of the other ones, but that definitely sounds like it could be a really good book.
It does.
Yeah. Looking forward to that.
Amazing. Yep.
So that's May done. So we're on to June, and I've only got one in June.
It's not a bad thing.
And it's called The Switch.
The Switch. That sounds familiar. By who? By whom is this?
By Lily Sanson.
Lily? That's a good name. Lily Samson.
Sanson.
Lily Samson. This. Ooh,
there we go.
That's a nice one.
So I love this cover because I think you've got the whole premise of the novel on the front with the switch and the fact that, you know, whose life do you want? It implies that you viewing it you're probably going to go between the two as a reader. On the left, you've got the sort of potential woman next door to the sort of happily, let's say happily in brackets, married couple, where there's obviously going to be some sort of affair or whatever involved. I'd love it if it was like a bit of a, like, because obviously you'd probably expect the man and the woman to have an affair. Wouldn't it be great if they just did flip the switch quite literally and it was, you know, the women having an affair for a change or something like that? That's just going to...
Yeah, I like that.
Bring it. Yeah. Bring a
like
different spin.
I like the spin.
Yep, I like that. I'm down to that. Delete my search history of the Lust Gardens.
She's all over a Lush Garden. But look at the US cover of this. Very, very, very different.
Mm.
And I don't know which I like more, because I get the one you mentioned is very split. You can see there's people involved. I get it. This gives a very different vibe.
Mm. What does it say there on the top?
Shocking, seductive, and scandalous. A page-turning thriller.
Mm.
This gives me kind of Jamaican vibes because of the colours.
Mm. Don't think it's set in Jamaica though, mate.
No, I don't. But you know, just saying. Yeah, very different. Very different. I mean, like the CJ Tudor ones were kind of similar.
You just always, don't you, though? Every single year there's like a breakout novel that is like The Girl on the Train or something that is just really big. And I think this could be a good shout for that.
Yeah.
You know,
So
only time will tell.
Yeah,
but
it's in the UK. It's released by Penguin, and it says two couples, one twisted game of love and obsession. So, Chris, you nailed that on the head. A dark domestic thriller about the dangerous secrets that come to light when a wild fantasy turns sinister. When young couple Alina and Adam are offered the chance to house sit in their dream neighborhood for a few months, they jump at the opportunity. It's another house sitting story, Chris. The leafy South London enclave is a world away from everything they know, complete with grand homes, lush gardens, and a quaint local coffee shop. Soon, Elena crosses paths with the beautiful and enigmatic artist Sophia and her husband Finn, and she and Adam are pulled into the orbit. Sophia is everything Elena isn't: glamorous, alluring, successful, and Finn's exerts a mysterious pull on Elena that she can't seem to shake. Elena's infatuation with Finn grows stronger by the day, and when Sophia poses a thrilling game to her new friend to swap partners in secret, Elena quickly agrees. It's not long before Elena experiences a sexual awakening that blossoms into an illicit love affair, but Sophia's plans are far more dangerous than Elena could ever have imagined. So you almost had that bang on.
Almost.
It was just not the...
what was it called? There was a show on Netflix. It had Richard Armitage in it, and he had an affair with his son's wife.
No.
Yeah. He had an affair with his son's... At first, it's not his son's wife, it's his son's girlfriend, but then he asks her to marry him. And he is a surgeon, and he starts having an affair with this woman. Anyway, that gives me sort of similar vibes in terms of something going on. There's a big switch. Then what's the moral dilemma again? Telling you, if you're a writer, you need to be thinking about the moral dilemmas, because they're the ones that make the big money.
Because they're relatable, Chris. Did you see my joke on Twitter this week?
Which one?
It said, "Why are authors always cold?"
Go on.
Because they're surrounded by drafts.
Oh, God.
Yeah, great reaction, that joke. Anyway, have we got any more books coming up? Or are we done for up until June?
We're done for June, but we've got 2 in July.
Is that the last 2?
Yeah.
Come on, let's squeeze them in. Get them in.
So, the first one is Love Letters from a Serial Killer by Tasha Coriel.
Just typing, sorry. A serial... Okay, that comes up. By who?
Tasha... I want to say Coriel. So Coryell.
Tasha. It's not coming up. How do you spell her name again? Just write her name in. Tasha.
So Tasha and then Coryell.
I have her name. Oh yeah, found it. A cover that looks like a Napoleon ice cream.
Maybe a different cover then.
Halo says, first comes love, then comes marriage, then comes half decomposed body with a blood inked message, and then rebirth. Share screen. Yeah.
Well, according to these books, then sexual awakening.
In sexual awakening.
Yeah. That's different to the one I've seen on that guy.
You get the Napoleon ice cream vibe, though, right? It says, please don't kill me. P.S. Please don't kill me. And I love the blade with the woman's face in the blade.
Yeah.
But I'm not too sure that cover. I don't say don't judge a book by its cover, but I really do. Yeah,
that's different to the one I've seen.
Let me look at the US version, see if that's the one you've seen. Because it might, again, looking at the trends of tonight, it will be very different. Oh, yeah, okay. Let's swap these around very quickly. Let us know if you prefer the US version or the UK version. I know which one I prefer. Is that the one on NetGalley?
No.
No. Okay.
Interesting.
It is interesting. Out on 4th of July in the UK by Orion Books, and it's out in the US on the 25th of that's a hardcover. The 25th of June by Berkeley. So it's, again, a couple of months later.
And you know as well with these, the fact that they're out in both the UK and the US, that doesn't always happen with every book. You know, some books just get a UK release. So, you know, and the people publishing them, there's a lot of weight behind these books in terms of publishing houses. So hopefully they do kick on, and they are some of the best books of 2024.
Yeah, I think they've got a good shout, especially they've got this much kind of backing and support early on. So shall I go for the blur for this?
Yep.
An aimless young woman starts writing to an accused serial killer while he awaits his trial, and then once he's acquitted, decides to move in with him. That's a twist. And take the investigation into her own hands in this dark and irresistibly compelling debut thriller. Recently ghosted and sick of watching her friends fade into the suburbs, 30-something Hannah finds community in true crime form that's on a mission to solve the murders of 4 women in Atlanta. After William, a handsome lawyer, is arrested for the killings, Hannah begins writing him letters. It's the perfect outlet for her pent-up frustration and rage. The exercise empowers her and even feels healthy at first, until William writes back. Hannah's interest in the case goes from curiosity to obsession, leaving space for nothing else as her life implodes all around her. After she loses her job, she heads to Georgia to attend the trial and befriends other true crime junkies like herself. When a fifth woman is discovered murdered, the jury has no choice but to find William not guilty, and Hannah is the first person he calls upon his release. 2 of them quickly fall into a routine of domestic bliss, well, as blissful as one could feel when secretly investigating their partner for serial murder.
That's a great concept. Again, the moral dilemma. Could you sleep with a serial killer to solve the murder?
It depends, doesn't it?
I mean, does it?
Well, yeah.
I don't know what it depends on.
Well, it depends how committed you are to the cause, and first of all, if they're attractive or not.
I don't think attractiveness comes into it with a serial killer, mate. I think it's a definite no.
Come on, I mean, Jeffrey Dahmer, right? He wasn't exactly the most attractive, and people got away from him
by saying that, to be honest.
Well, people got away from him because they were a bit freaked out by him. If they were like going, "Oh, he's gorgeous," all over him, then he would have had more.
He would have had more people. Yeah, right. Okay, I get.
You know what I'm saying. Okay.
Yeah, I do now, but I was wondering where you're going with that.
I went around the long way of that, but yeah.
Okay, the next one, swiftly moving on from Jeffrey Dahmer. I can't believe I keep mentioning that. All the Colours of the Dark by Chris Whitaker is the last recommendation.
Oh, what a cover. What a cover. Again, the wrong page. Let me stop that one and present the screen. Doop-a-doop-doop-doop. There you go. Look at that beauty.
Yeah. Now, he won. Oh, what did he win whilst we were in Harrogate?
I don't know, but hang on a second.
The main prize, the big barrel.
Apparently Ted Bundy fathered a child while in prison. How does that work?
What?
One of those special visits, maybe?
I mean, that's a whole different type of love letter.
Isn't it? So he won. He won the main book prize in Harrogate. Did you mean?
He did. I can't remember what it's called. The
Golden Barrel. Yeah, that'll do.
The gold. Yeah, we'll go with that. He won the Golden Barrel and smashed a load of really good authors out of the park that year.
Not literally.
And he was due to come on the show again. Somebody who was due to come on, and he did say he'd come back on. But
We've
again,
had a lot of
another
those.
person. Yeah, but he's a one that I would like for him to come back on. And obviously, there's a lot of pressure on this book because his last book did so well.
Well, you can stalk him maybe, Chris. And a little hanky-panky in the visiting rooms, Linda says.
Wow. That's a different type of visit.
You sounded really like forlorn about that, Chris.
I know. Like, have you seen do you see the video on TikTok where the woman goes to visit a guy and they smuggle drugs through passing of the baby? So she passes the baby over.
Right.
Passes the baby over to the dad, and you see it on CCTV. And the dad like pretends to check the baby's nappy, and just pulls out this bag and puts it in his pocket. Anyway, they get caught, obviously. But I just kind of like that tainted like something for me. When I saw it, I was like, you know, you got one opportunity there to meet your kid, and the thing that you're concerned about is the drugs.
Yep.
And the same sort of thing went through my mind when I read A Little Hanky Panky in the Visiting Rooms. It's just like, oh yeah, it's a sinister.
There's a world a lot of people don't know about, and it's often best left that way. All the Colours of the Dark is a fantastic book cover because, first of all, I'm pretty sure it has all the Colours of the Dark in it, and I like that. Mesmerizing, haunting, and unforgettable by Patricia Cornwell. And Will Dean said it's a truly epic crime novel and love story. I'm sure he said that whilst in his famous green jacket. Yeah, a huge achievement by Alex. I'm not even going to try and say that. Michaelides.
Oh, he wrote The Silent Patient.
It's a big name. Yeah, that looks brilliant. So this is out in July. June. 25th of June in the UK. Let me have a look in the US because
I had July here.
25th of June. So you had one job, Chris.
It's ruined my. That was the last one. That was July. Just buy it in July. Just wait a month.
Oh my God! For once, the cover in the UK is better than US by a mile, I believe. I do not understand that cover compared to the. Not at all. Right. So keep an eye on this cover. I think that's great. Please tell me if I'm wrong here. That's ours. This is the US version. Not better.
No, I feel like I could have made that on Canva.
Yeah, my point being that looks very kind of amateur, whereas his last one looked very kind of graphically designed well. There's not even any quotes on there.
No.
That's a very strange difference. So let's go back to the other one because it's just better. 1 second. Sorry. I mean, this is a great show for the podcast who can't see any of this. Okay. So All of the Colors of the Dark by Chris Whitaker. It says a missing persons mystery, a serial killer, and an epic love story with a unique twist on each. Late one summer, the town of Monte Carlo is shattered by an abduction of local teenager Joseph Patch Macaulay. Sorry, 1 second. Nobody more so than St. Brown, who is broken by her best friend's disappearance. Soon she will eat, sleep, breathe, only to find him. But when she does, it will break her heart. Patch lies in a pitch black room all alone for days or maybe weeks until he feels a hand in his. Her name is Grace, and though they cannot see each other, she takes him from the darkness and paints their world with her words. In this hopeless place, they fall in love. But when he escapes, there is no sign she even ever existed. To find her again, Patch charts an epic search across the country, and to set him free, Saint will shadow his journey on a darker path to hunt down the man who took them, even if finding the truth means losing each other. Apparently, it's impeccably crafted, and the scrolling crime novels transcends its genre to become something epic in scope, haunting and ultimately deeply moving, a huge achievement.
Yeah, I have no doubt in my mind that it will be really well written. I like the idea of two victims of crime falling in love and then struggling to find each other. Yeah, I think that is the unique twist. I've not heard that before.
Yeah, it's very good.
So,
is that the books finished?
Yeah, that's all the recommendations for the first half of the year.
So the big question is, Chris, February is around the corner. So our first reading book club of the month is February, which means what we'll do is we'll read the book. If we all want to buy the book together, I will tomorrow I'll post all the links in the description. If we pick a book for February and read it, and at the end of February we do a panel show based on the people who read the book and try and get the author involved, what is our first book going to be?
Well, we have a choice of two. For February, we have Original Sins by Erin Young or 14 Days by Margaret Atwood and Douglas Preston.
Okie dokie. What I will do is we'll put a tweet up this week, guys. Is it a tweet anymore? Who knows? An X. We will X a thing, and we'll do a vote of those two books. Please let us know which we'd rather read. We will do the same, and once we decided, we will all try our best to read that one book this month, in the month of February, and then we will get together and discuss that book and try and get the author involved, even if they just come and give some comments or record some comments for us, whatever that may be, and try and book them on the show as well.
Yeah, I mean, the authors, Erin Young, obviously she's doing quite well. Second book, and then you've got Margaret Atwood and a whole host of other authors. So depending on what comes out on the poll and what we read, then once we know what book's coming out, we'll obviously buy it and read along too. But we'll try and get in touch, and we'll try and invite them to a date for us to chat to them and ask them questions directly. And obviously, you guys are more than welcome to join us in that. And if you have questions of your own by that time, you can ask away as well.
Well, we're banking on it. Real writing questions, real reading questions, and I'm sure some real Halo questions. I'm going to put it out there. But
that's a category by itself.
Yes, the Halo questions are there. But yeah, I think it's a valuable kind of show to bring in the books. And what I'd like to see this develop into, Chris, is also seeing some that are coming from the community as well. And maybe we're a bit more focused on the month ahead, but that's a bit more tricky. What I'd love everyone to do, like I said earlier, is to go on to the description into the survey, and please fill that out about the thing about the Creative Lounge. If you'd like to see it in your local area, please let us know on that survey as well, because the more people that buy into this, when I do the business meetings, I can say, look, the research is there. So it's a great idea. Next week, exclusive to you guys. This weekend happening right now, we couldn't make it, unfortunately, is the Lockwood & Co meetup in London. People from all around, including America, have traveled over to London to go and do a Lockwood & Co meetup. We couldn't make it, unfortunately. So if you're doing that and you're watching this or you're listening back, I hope you've had a great time. Next, a surprise to you, next Friday, our proper guest, I'm sure the first guest in probably since my 40th birthday a couple of weeks ago, will be the amazing Jonathan Stroud, who we had on the show before, which was that unbelievable success about the Lockwood & Co series. There were so many people saying, how can this show finish already? We haven't talked about the Bartimer series or anything else, because he's written a lot of other stuff as well. So they demanded in mass, not joking, a part 2, and the amazing Jonathan and Georgina, his wife, agreed about this show coming back on, and they organized it, and that time is next week. So Jonathan Stroud will be back on next week. Please all tune in. Please all give your questions and talk to him in the best way. And he doesn't know, but I've asked Anna, who isn't here tonight because she's at the Lockwood & Co meetup, to record a few questions from the biggest fans in the meetup. So hopefully we'll have a few of those questions from the people to ask our Jonathan next week. So what a good
and
guest.
We do. Yeah, Jonathan is obviously a fantastic guest, but we also have lots of other fantastic guests coming up this year who are really, really exciting. Did you know that Ben Aronovich,
and the two of us,
he obviously donated books to the prison and things like that.
Oh, he was brilliant. Yeah.
Rivers of London,
huge.
His book is massive, and it's actually just been picked up by Simon Pegg's production company. Yeah.
Well, this is how big this is, right? So I was not massively aware of this person. And when they donated the books to us, I was very, 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 very grateful that they went to a good cause, the young people in the prison locally, to me. And my manager, I had mentioned it to my manager, and she said, is it the author of Rivers of London? That guy. I said, I think so. So I searched up, and she went, oh my God. And she was like proper fangirling. So instantly I went, oh my God, this is huge. And then looked it up, and yeah. So Ben Artovich sent us, he was wonderful. At Christmas time, I kind of connected with a local prison and young people who don't have much, and they've gone through a tough time. And yes, they've gone through things and they've done things, but their circumstances haven't been the best. And at Christmas time, we gave them a little care package. And Ben Artovich and his people sent us a bunch of books. Rivers.
I don't know how. I think we're saying his surname wrong. I said Aaron.
Aaron Artovich.
Aaronovich.
It's right. Sorry, we apologize.
Got that.
But
sorry, Ben. We love you.
No, yeah, sorry, Ben. But the generosity from him to do that, and he's done a couple of prison speaks as well, so that was being talked about. So incredible, and we can't wait to get him on the show. So yeah, he's a great highlight.
Yeah, and his books, Rivers of London, are brilliant. The whole series, fantastic. And I did want to mention one for January in case you did want to slip a book in before February. And again, somebody else that we've had on the show, CK McDowell. Yes. And he writes a series called The Stranger Times, and he's got a new one out this month called Relight My Fire. And it's the fourth book in the series.
Sorry.
Yeah. I think he's done that intentionally because on the front cover it's
well, take that all around again. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're just brilliant. They're really funny. They're set in Manchester. It's about a news company called The Stranger Times who report on strange things that happen in and around the city of Manchester. And yeah, there's things like witches,
That's a big
vampires,
paper.
all sorts, yeah, all sorts of things. And yeah, it's brilliant. So I definitely recommend that. So if you've not picked up a book in January, pick up The Stranger Times by C.K. McDowell. And yeah, he's 4 books into that now. So
you have
plenty
about
to
a
read.
week to read that before we start our February book. So yeah, get reading.
Yeah, and as well in the future, obviously I've mentioned some books tonight, but if you've got a book that you really want to read and that you think should be into the mix for the book club, then yeah, recommend them.
We didn't look at Halo's book. Let's go back to that one quickly, very, very quickly. And sorry, Linda, going back off the comment earlier, perhaps we should crowdfund a WCCS Ghost Hunt. Love that.
Yeah, I'd love to do that as well.
Who do you think would be most scared?
I don't think I'd be scared. I think I'd be intrigued. I'd want to see something. Like, I've seen loads of clips and stuff of things happening, but I think even if I saw something, I wouldn't believe it until I knew that there was no way I was being conned.
Until they touched you. So potentially, Linda, I think that's a great shout. And I know we did a Halloween show last year, and we did say, me and Chris, that I think a ghost hunt video for Halloween show would be so good. So yeah,
what we need
that in mind.
Look at Harrogate, see if there's any ghosts.
Yeah, but it's weird the time of year they do these ghost hunts. I'm trying to look back because Halo did say who that book she liked was from, and I can't find it in the comments, so I apologize.
Really gets screwed up by a ghost. That's Agate in disguise as a ghost.
Yeah. Like, woo, woo. Anyway, yeah, great to be back on the show, guys. Loved it. And I feel a little bit bad that we missed a few shows because January is notorious as shit time. Mental health always goes down in January. You've got the terrible weather, you've got illnesses, you've got just crap. And we were there for lockdown for the community. And we seem to have been busy in January, and we've had pullouts. So we're glad to be back because the people that are tuned into the show, the people that listen to the show, they've got something to be distracted by, and hopefully we're there for you in that sense. And if you're ever struggling, if you need help with your writing, if you want any support, if you want us to share your stuff on social media, you want to promote your show on your book on this show, you want to come on the show, get in touch with us and just chat to us because we're there for you guys. And the writing community chat show is there because the writing community was there for us. So please use us in the way that you wish, in your mind. Use us in the way that you wish in real life by speaking to us on the show. So thank you so much for being a great supportive community. Linda says the last 3 weeks have been shit, so I'm glad you're there for us. You're all here. Yeah, exactly my point. So sorry for being a bit laxy daisy. I did turn 40 the other week. You wouldn't believe it. Yeah, you would. But yeah. So
you turned 40, which is obviously it takes time to mentally adjust to that. And I had pneumonia, so we've got excuses.
We've been brilliant. Yeah. So yeah, we've been rough, and I was ill too. So we've all been through the weather, as it may seem to all of you as well. I mean, this time of year, it just is a bit crap. But please use us and lean on us for support if you need to.
Yeah.
And we'll be back next week with amazing Jonathan Stroud. Wednesdays, we started up the X Twitter Spaces again. The first week we did it, we had a wonderful couple of people come and chat to us for quite a while. Last week we did it. It was terrible. 3 people tuned in and then turned off. So it wasn't so good. If you want to chat to us on Wednesday next week on Twitter, which is Spaces Chat, no face involved, just come and chat to us, basically like being on the phone. Please do so. We chat about anything. Come and chat to us.
This week we're going to have a headline of what was I going to say? I had it.
I don't know.
Jelly tots. I bought jelly tots because you said they were your favorite writing.
They're my favorite.
So I bought some of them. Yeah.
I'm so proud of you, Chris.
Innuendos. That's what we're going
Yes.
to do. Writing innuendos. That's what we're going to start with on Wednesday Spaces. We'll be there talking about innuendos. So bring your Lust Garden stories. And we'll have a chat about them.
Come along with your Lust Garden.
What was the other thing? What was on the front of the book? The Lust Garden and something throbbing.
Throbbing? No, that was Halo. It was pounding. Was it?
Pulsating.
Pulsating?
Was it? I think it was pulsating.
It's all the trigger words. Yay, dirty talk, Linda says. Happy 40th. Is that how you spell that? Because it looks like teeth.
40th.
40th? 40th. Yeah. Is it?
You're on the road to 50 now, mate.
No, I'm starting my wizardry journey. I feel better. When I went from my 20s to my 30s, I hated it. Going from my 30s to my 40s, I feel like yes, now is a good time. It's not weird.
Yeah, I feel you there though. I mean, I'm not 40 yet, but when I turned 30, my back ached the next day and my knees, and I was like, "What is this?"
I'm going to give you an exclusive. I've not promoted this. I'm going to be very, very, very chuffed and a sense of achievement on Wednesday next week, because I've done a burpee challenge in January, thanks to my friend in work. It was supposed to be 100 burpees a day through January, but we said we're not doing weekends. So it was 140 burpees a day, Monday to Friday through January. I did the first week, successfully managed just. The second week I was off ill and my birthday. And when I went back into work expecting not to do anything, he said, "You owe me like 800 burpees." So I had to do 245 a day for 4 days. This week I've done that. Yeah, I've done 140 every day, and I've got 3 days left, and I would have done a month of burpees. And no joke, it's not an official challenge. It's not like a big event, but I feel really chuffed already to get this far, and I can't wait to finish it. Oh,
yeah.
Thanks, Linda. Agate could easily pass as the 39-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would not get close to that many burpees. I could probably burp that many times in a day, but that would be as close as I'm getting.
Ridiculous. I'm telling you, it's ridiculous. It's so hard. But there you go. Fitness challenge through January, and I've lost a little bit of weight. It's going all right. It's going well. Yeah, just to get through it and not be injured and all that good stuff. Yeah, I'm really excited about finishing it. So when you look at being an author, being quite sedentary, sitting behind a desk a lot, I think doing something, even if it's getting out for walks regularly, is a very good thing for mental health and for creativity. So if you're feeling a bit of a slump, don't cut your own hair. Get out for a walk.
That's true. I will take your advice. I won't be doing any burpees, but I might walk next time. Right.
I'll give you a tip right now, Linda. I was training for a 5K, but messed myself up and have to restart. Do never, ever start anything hard in January. You go start running couch to 5K or whatever it be in January. You're going against the elements. You're running in wind. You're running in the darkness. You're running against the wind and the rain. It's horrible. You will easily give up. Go slow, go steady, long. You got to think long term. There's so many people that start this whole craze in January, and it never ever lasts out because it's just too difficult. Even experienced runners, you get to like the summertime, not even summer's too hot, but like between summer, like springtime, you start going very slowly, you'll build into it. Winter is the most horrific time to start something new. So don't ever feel bad to yourself for starting something like running in January and failing on it. It's just not, it's not acceptable to be able to do it. It's not realistic. So reevaluate your goals, do something easy, and just be committed and every day dig into it a little bit.
Yeah, we should be more like bears and just hibernate. January
absolutely
is not cool.
Yeah. Like, no joke, the burpees I'm doing, they take like 40 minutes, but I'm just in one spot on the floor inside where the weather's good, doing something hard, and it's changing my body. But running outside in the elements in January when you're not a runner is, even when you run, it's horrible. Just don't do it.
Nice.
Yeah, there's your fitness advice on the WCCS.
Maybe that's what you should do. There's a TikTok trend.
Yeah,
Fitness with Agate, CJ Fitness. You can be like, this is how 40-year-old does it. I've not seen many 40-year-old fitness instructors, to be honest. I think that'd be a niche market.
I love the idea of sleeping all day and eating honey or small children.
Yeah, I'll do the sleeping all day eating honey TikTok thing. Leave the kids out of it.
Yeah, you could do that.
I'll eat some honey and sleep.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think we should wrap this up.
Yeah.
Nearly a 2-hour show.
Yeah, why not? Some good recommendations.
We could stay on, but so the first book we're going to read, we're going to post online and do a poll, Chris.
Yep.
Are we going to have a chat group about this, or are we literally going to just go back on the show and chat about it?
Well, we've got Original Sins, 14 days, and then on a poll you get the option of having about 4 different books. If anyone does recommend another 2, then yeah, we'll include them in the poll. But if not, we'll go with those 2, and then we'll.
I like that. Okay, so we got Chris Hooley's choice, 2 choices for the poll, and also 2 choices from the writing community to add to the poll.
Yeah.
Whoa. There you go, guys. That's your input, and that's your chance to vote for someone you know. But then don't just vote for someone you know. It has to be a valid book, something that you think everyone's going to want to read.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be what you think everyone's going to read, but a book that you genuinely want to read.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what I meant.
Yeah. And then whichever, democracy, whichever book comes out at the top, we will win. We will win.
We will win.
We will win.
We will.
I meant to say we will read, and then we'll review it at the end of the month. So we'll do the poll. We'll set the poll to run till the end of January, last day of January, and then we'll let you know on the 1st of February which book is going to be our read.
Well, if you think about it, if we do get an indie author book into this kind of competition, say that the people of the writing community vote for this, then in reality, if this kind of book club grows, then that indie author could have a good bunch of book sales, and potentially if we all gather in that kind of creative thing, we could all review that book as well.
Yeah, I mean, let's say the first one, let's be realistic, let's say there's 3 sales. Still 3 more than there would have been without us. So, it's a good starting point.
Yeah. So let's build the community together. What are you eating, Chris?
Jelly tots.
Oh, you did say, I'm sorry. Jelly tots. Yeah. Hungry fella?
Do you know, they're very Moorish, aren't they? That's the thing.
Yeah. Put them in the fridge.
I don't know how you get much writing done with them now. I feel like I need to eat them and then write.
Can you finish? Oh, can you finish the show? Can you hear that?
No.
My keyboard turned off. Can you finish the show up in your American accent?
You can try without choking.
By the way, thank you so much everyone for tuning in. It's been a great laugh and a lot of recommendations. Thank you, Chris, for those. There's a lot of work obviously gone into that. Please leave your reviews and your feedback on the Creative Lounge. It could be coming towards you some point in the next couple of years. Chris, sign this out.
Yeah. Don't give Hooley too much credit because it didn't take him that long. He literally spent a few minutes on NetGalley having a little look at what to recommend. No, he didn't. I'm only joking. He did spend a long time picking those books out. But please join the book club. Show us your enthusiasm for all things pages. I hope you enjoyed a new phrase that you've got, the lust garden. You know, tell your neighbors, tell your friends about your lust garden, and see what kind of reaction you get. Get your burpees in. If you've not done 140 burpees by the next time you come to see or hear this show, then I'm going to be greatly disappointed. Get yourself some jelly tots because they tickle your tongue like nobody's business, and everybody deserves a little tongue tickle. Come and join us next week for Jonathan Stroud. He's going to be absolutely fantastic. We're going to ask him questions, and we're going to slip in the phrase lust garden. Hope it doesn't blow his mind or his wife's mind, but I'm sure they won't mind. Yeah.
Oh my
Stop
God.
talking now and go and get myself some Tennessee whiskey.
Chris, that was fucking brilliant. My cheeks hurt from laughing so much. Can't get myself some Tennessee whiskey. Yeah. Oh my God. It really hurts. Thank you, everybody. Chris, you're fucking being brilliant. Sorry for swearing. I'm not at all. But just saying that because we're on a podcast. I don't know what happens if we swear. Who knows? We'll see you all next week. Have a great weekend. Look after yourselves. Get drunk. Have fun. Be safe. Don't disembowel anybody, Halo. And see you all again soon. Bye-bye. Bye.